Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's your baby girl Gloria. In today's video we're going to be talking about UK supermarkets, because when I first came into this country I started by going into supermarkets that were not my class. You know what I mean by class? You know, we have level, we have class. When it comes to shopping in the UK, you have to know where you stand, know where your class is. As a broke girl that your baby girl is, there's some supermarket that I was not supposed to be entering, that I found myself entering because I didn't know better. So in this video, I'm going to be telling you the supermarket that you should look for your own class and know where your budget is according to your pocket. I'm not saying one is better than the other, but I'm just saying there are ways to save your money. There are ways to minimize spending or wasting money for something that is almost the same quality, especially grocery. Is it not food? 1 kg of food in ASDA, it is the same 1 kg of food in Sainsbury's. So why would you want to waste more money? So let's dive into it. I'm going to be talking about this supermarket in no particular order, but I'm just going to be talking about them individually so I don't misjudge. And please don't get me wrong, in case you're the owner of any of this supermarket and you're watching my video, your girl is loyal. I am only trying to shed light from my own experience, and you may have a different opinion. You may have something different about this supermarket where you live or when you've shopped there. It is just my own personal experience. Another thing is, this supermarket may not be close to you. So even though a supermarket I've mentioned may be something very cheap or maybe the most affordable for you, it may not be close to where you live. So you need to look at how close some of these markets are to you, your transportation, to determine if it is still your best option. The first one I'm going to say is Waitrose. Waitrose is one of the highly classified, high standard kind of supermarket that you can see in the UK. I'll tell you the truth, I have never ever shopped there, but I've gone around. When I was in England, I've moved around, I walked around the aisles to see the things they sell, and let me tell you, I cannot afford to shop in that market. This market is classy, it's high standard, it has, you know, if you're this type of person that you like buying things that are expensive, people have this mentality of if they buy things that are expensive, those are the things that are more maybe of better quality. So if you're that type of person, you may find Waitrose as your shop where you want to go to shop to get your things. Waitrose is highly classified, it's beautifully arranged, nice staff everywhere, but it is one of the expensive supermarkets to me. Then we have M&S. M&S is also very posh, very highly classed, but I don't think it's as expensive or as high class as Waitrose. So M&S is a place, if you drive all those Lamborghini, if you're a big boy, big girl in town, those are some of the shops you want to go. You can go also and have a look. It is beautiful, it is well, packaging, and you get fresh stuff as well, but it is kind of expensive from my own experience, and but I don't think it's as expensive as Waitrose. Then you have ICELAND. ICELAND is not as expensive as M&S or Waitrose. They are cheap, but not as cheap as some of the shops I'm going to be mentioning in this video. From the name, you think is one. I was actually thinking initially that it was named after Iceland, a country, or that you find frozen food, where you find already processed food, but no. In Iceland, you can still get your fresh food, you can get your processed food, you can get your ready-made food, and it is also in between. It is something that is still classy, but it is not as expensive and it's not as cheap. So Iceland is also an option if you like things that are more expensive. Sainsbury's, even the name alone, Sainsbury's, sounds like a designer shoe or something. Maybe because I'm actually a broke girl, I've never shopped in Sainsbury's. I think it's overpriced. I just think they are overrated. I think Sainsbury's is overrated. It's too classy and too expensive. You get things that you want, but really, I don't know. I've never shopped in Sainsbury's. You can go and pick up few things, but not for your whole weekly or your whole monthly shopping. Sainsbury's is still a little bit, it's not as cheap as ASDA as well, but it's not as expensive as Waitrose or those other M&S, but it's not as cheap as some other supermarket as well. Sainsbury's is not as popular as you see as the Aldi, but I think they're overpriced. I think they're just overpriced. Even the name, from the name alone, actually it sounds like designer, like something that is too posh, and is a little bit expensive as well. Sainsbury's is expensive. It's not where you want to go if you're on a budget, really. Then we have ASDA. I love ASDA, not just because where I am presently, the closest shop or the closest big shop to me is ASDA. ASDA has homeware department, clothing departments, groceries, kitchenwares. You can buy a lot of things, microwave, cooking utensils, even decorating stuff. There's this flower I have in my studio. I bought it from ASDA. Towels, clothes, even uniforms, pots, groceries, fresh fruits, vegetables, already processed food, packed food. ASDA has a lot of departments, so it makes it really easy. So because I like to buy my things in bulk, and once I'm buying my thing, I like to like go in and get everything. One day I'm going to show you some of these shops and get everything at once, and when I'm coming out, you'll think I've robbed the whole shop. That is what I want. I don't want to go to somewhere and I can't get what I want. So what I actually do in ASDA, the one close to me especially, is I go through each aisle and I'm able to, so I don't forget anything, I'm able to get almost everything I want in ASDA. You can get everything. ASDA is really good. It is not as cheap as one other shop that I think, but it is not as expensive. It is where you can actually go to even if you're on a budget and you won't break your pocket. So I love ASDA, really. I usually go to ASDA. They have membership card as well if you want. They do home delivery, they do food membership as well. If you're on maybe food plan or you want them to deliver food to your home, even vegetable plan, there are lots of plans they have. So I love ASDA. I'm not advertising for ASDA, but ASDA is one shop that I will recommend if you're on a budget or you don't like, those posh Sainsbury's, M&S. So yes, ASDA is somewhere you should consider. We have Aldi. I love Aldi. I was living in a place before I moved to where I am presently, and the Aldi there's an ASDA and there's an Aldi opposite each other. And just for less than a 2 minutes drive, they will sell apple pack of 6 for, like, let's say in ASDA, it can be £1.20. or £2, let's say. Then you go to Aldi, and Aldi will sell it 99 or 77 fees. And you're like, just 2 minutes difference. And by the time you accumulate that money, especially if you're buying things in bulk, you'll know that Aldi is actually cheaper. In fact, I don't mind sometimes to drive to the next town where there's Aldi to buy things, because even by the time I remove my fuel money from what I'm going to gain going to Aldi, I still have profit. So to me, Aldi is way cheaper than ASDA. Aldi, they're kind of really cheap, and you get very fresh things. You get your vegetables, and the aisle sometimes you can just bump into various things. They used to have sales. ASDA also usually have sales, and Aldi have sales. There are places you just see reduced price. Look out for those shelves where you see things that are on sales, things that are reduced. If you like budgeting and you like cheap stuff and you're broke like me, my sister, my brother, your best bet is going to be Aldi. Aldi is good. Trust me. When I say Aldi is good, you know now. With the Stingy Women Association, we know that Aldi is cheaper, even cheaper than ASDA. So imagine shopping in Aldi and then going to shop in Sainsbury's or M&S. You can see where my problem is coming from, where my conflict is coming from. Because the same quality of apple I'll get in Sainsbury, I can get it for half the price in Aldi. So Aldi is where you really want to shop. We have Lidl. Lidl is also very cheap. Lidl in price, yeah, but big in quality. That's what they used to say. Lidl is cheap as well. If you have Lidl close to you, I've shopped in Lidl and their things are good quality, good price. You have mostly processed food, packaged food, already made burger, already made these, but Lidl is still good, but it's not as good as, to me anyway, it's not as good as Aldi or ASDA, but Lidl is somewhere that is really cheap as well. I don't know if you've heard of Morrison. Morrison is also an underrated shop. It is not as expensive, but it is not too cheap. Morrison is not everywhere, because I think I've only seen one Morrison, and it is very rare for, I've never ever shopped in Morrison, but I've seen the prices, and I just think it is one of the shops that are underrated because they're not as expensive. But even from the name, I usually think the name, what you name your shop, sometimes influence people to come into it, because I cannot see something that is called M&S. I just think it's expensive, like the designer M&S shoes and bags. So Morrison also sounds like too tushed. It is tush, but it's not as expensive also. So it is a shop also that is also pocket friendly. Then we have Coop. Coop is usually on the high street. There's usually 1 or 2 Coop in most towns. Then you can have it where you are, you can have it close to you. Coop usually is a place I use only for emergency. If I need 1 or 2 things and I'm not able to go as far as ASDA, Aldi, I'll just go to Coop. And I have their membership card where you shop, then you get few peas, you get few money back. I like Coop because it's just like a small community shop, you know, where little things, you just see little things that are not as big or as fancy as you have all those other big shops, but you can also get cheap things, but they're not as cheap. They're way expensive than ASDA and as Aldi or even Lidl. Coop can be more expensive than Lidl as well. Then we have Tesco. Tesco is almost like the headquarter of all these shops. Tesco is very cheap, it's very big. They have different things. In Tesco, I have their membership card also. Tesco is almost everywhere, it's almost oversaturated. So you have Tesco everywhere. It is easy to access Tesco, it is cheap. There are things that are also good, even their drinks. You can buy cheap drinks in packets from Tesco and at a very cheap rate. They also have fresh foods as well. Tesco is also very cheap, and I would think maybe between Tesco and Aldi, one of these two is my best or my favorite, which I think they are the most cheap. Apart from that, you can have Poundland, you can have a lot of other shops or markets near you that I don't know, but just look around to see which shop is cheaper or which shop is more expensive before you settle for a particular shop and get stuck and get hooked to that shop. Make sure you try out that same thing. You can buy 500 grams of cornflakes in one shop and go and buy the same 500 grams of cornflakes in another shop to see the price and to compare which one you want to go back to. And sometimes even if one is cheap, the other one may be more expensive, so you need to know where you balance both and choose wisely. Don't be in haste to get stuck or to get glued into one particular shop without looking for your alternative and finding where your balance will be. Especially if you're new in the UK and you don't know those shops. See, ask people, ask your co-workers, because those people, they know. They will tell you, just take this bus and go to this place, and that place you get this thing very cheap. When it even comes to clothing, there are ways you can get very cheap and beautiful clothing instead of buying things from George and all those designers and those expensive overpriced clothes or designer shops. So ask people, ask what you can do, where you can get cheap things, and I think through that you can also save. No, on this channel we're all about saving all those coins. We're all about, we did not come to this country to come and count water. We did not come to come and count houses. Anyway, that is the end of my video for today. Do you enjoy this video? If you did enjoy any part at all, why are you not subscribed? Is it still red, that subscribe button? If it's still red, that means you're not subscribed. It's free. I won't take anything from you. I'm not asking you to pay me. Just press subscribe button and watch advertisement. Finish. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. I will see you again in another video. And until then, please spend wisely. Look through all these shops. Look for the one that is closer to you and save. And the one that is remaining in your savings, send it to me. I'm only joking. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in my next video. Until then, bye.